If you notice that getting up from a chair takes more effort than it used to, if climbing a flight of stairs leaves you breathing harder than it should, if you've caught yourself grabbing the wall, the countertop, or the door frame just to steady yourself, stop what you're doing right now. Because what you're experiencing is not just aging, it's a warning, and most people ignore it until something goes wrong. My name is Michael Davis. I'm 68 years old. I'm a retired civil engineer. And 5 years ago, I could barely walk from my front door to my mailbox without feeling my legs shake underneath me. Today, I'm going to tell you exactly what that warning sign means, why it happens, and, more importantly, what you can do about it starting today. But first, I need you to understand something. What I'm about to share with you is not a fitness trend. It is not something I found on a magazine cover or a social media ad. This is what I learned by studying the body the same way I spent 35 years studying structures, with precision, with logic, with respect for how things actually work. So stay with me until the end, because I'm going to give you a specific protocol, something I call the foundation reset, and I promise it will change the way you walk, stand, and move for the rest of your life. There is also a bonus at the end that almost nobody talks about, and it may be the most important thing I say today. Let's start with the sign itself. The biggest sign of weak legs after 65 is not pain. It's not stiffness. Those are symptoms. The real sign, the one that tells you something structural is failing, is this: hesitation. The small pause before you stand up. The slight grip you put on the armrest. The moment your body says wait before it commits to the movement. That hesitation is your nervous system telling you it no longer trusts the structure beneath it. Think of it this way. I spent my career building bridges, and the first thing any good engineer learns is this: a bridge does not collapse suddenly. It gives signals, micro-fractures, vibrations that feel slightly off, small deflections that nobody notices until, one day, the whole thing gives way. Your legs are the same. That hesitation is the micro-fracture. It is your body telling you the load-bearing system is weakening and the foundation needs attention now. Here is what is actually happening inside those legs. After the age of 60, the body begins losing fast-twitch muscle fibers at an accelerated rate. These are the fibers responsible for quick, reactive movements, the ones that catch you when you slip, that push you up from a chair, that stabilize your knees when you step off a curb. You lose them silently. No alarm goes off. And because slow activities like walking don't challenge those fibers enough to preserve them, most people lose them without ever knowing they were gone, until the hesitation starts. Here is the good news. Those fibers can be rebuilt, not by accident, not by walking more, but by applying the right kind of signal to the muscle. Controlled resistance, specific angles, deliberate loading. The body, at 65 or 70 or even 80, still responds to the correct stimulus. It does not care how old you are. It cares whether you are giving it a reason to stay strong. And today, I am going to show you exactly how to give it that reason. Now, I want to be clear about what we are going to do. I am going to walk you through the 4 most powerful movements for rebuilding leg strength after 65. These are not gym exercises. You do not need special equipment. You need a chair, a wall, and 10 minutes. That is it. We will go through each one. I will explain exactly why it works, how to do it correctly, and what you should feel if you are doing it right. After the 4 movements, I have a bonus, a single daily habit that multiplies the effect of everything else. Most people skip this because it sounds too simple. Do not skip it. We start with number 4, the controlled chair stand. This movement sounds simple. It is not. Most people do it completely wrong, and that is exactly why their legs keep getting weaker despite all the standing up and sitting down they do every day. Here is what wrong looks like. You drop into the chair and you throw yourself forward to stand up. You use momentum instead of muscle. You are teaching the body that it does not need to generate force because you will give it a shortcut every time. Here is how to do it right. Sit at the edge of your chair, feet shoulder-width apart, arms crossed at your chest or extended forward. Do not push off the armrests. Now, before you stand, think about your heels pressing into the floor, not your toes, your heels. Take 2 full seconds to rise and 3 seconds to lower yourself back down. Slow, controlled, deliberate. Do that 10 times. Rest for 30 seconds. Repeat twice. If you feel your quadriceps, the front of the thigh, burning slightly by the 8th repetition, that is exactly what you want. That burn is the signal. That is your body waking up muscle fibers it has not used in years. If your knees bother you during this, do not drop as far into the chair. Use a higher surface to start. A kitchen counter height is perfectly fine. The angle changes, the load decreases, the movement still works. Modify but do not skip. Number 3. The wall sit hold. I know, you have probably heard of this. Most people think it is for athletes. It is not. For someone over 65, a properly done wall sit might be one of the most effective leg strengthening tools in existence because it trains the body to sustain load over time. Not just to generate a burst of force, but to hold it. And that sustained capacity is exactly what your legs need to feel stable when you are walking on uneven ground or standing in line at the grocery store. Stand with your back against the wall. Walk your feet out until your knees are at roughly a 90-degree angle, or as close to 90 as feels safe and comfortable. Hold that position. Breathe normally. Count slowly in your mind. Start with 15 seconds if that is all you have. 20 seconds. 30. The goal over time is 60 seconds, not tomorrow, over weeks. When you come out of the hold, stand up slowly and walk for 30 seconds before trying again. Do this twice. You should feel the pressure in your thighs, not your knees. If you feel it in your knees, your feet are too close to the wall. Walk them out slightly. The angle changes everything in this movement. Pay attention to where you feel it because that is your feedback. Number 2, the standing hip hinge with counter support. This one is the most important movement for fall prevention that almost nobody over 65 is doing. And I say that with complete confidence because the hip hinge trains the posterior chain, the hamstrings, the glutes, the lower back, which is the chain responsible for catching you when you stumble. It is the difference between a stumble that corrects itself and a stumble that ends on the floor. Stand in front of your kitchen counter. Light fingertip contact, not gripping, just touching for balance reassurance. Feet hip-width apart. Now, push your hips back, not down, back. Imagine there is a wall behind you and you are trying to touch it with your seat. Your torso tilts forward slightly. Your back stays long and flat. Hold for 2 seconds at the bottom. Then drive your hips forward to return to standing. Squeeze your glutes at the top. That squeeze matters. Do not skip it. 10 repetitions, 2 sets. If you feel tightness in the back of your thighs, good. That is the hamstring doing its job. If you feel compression in your lower back is rounding. Reset your posture. Think long spine. Think proud chest. The moment your form breaks, the movement loses its value. Quality over quantity, every single time. If this content is helping you, if you are nodding along, if you are feeling seen, I'd ask you a small favor. Hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. Every person who subscribes helps me reach another man or woman over 60 who is sitting alone somewhere, convinced that their body is too far gone to come back. It is not. You and I know that now. Help me reach them. Number 1, the single leg stand progression. This is the movement that will tell you exactly where you stand, literally, in terms of functional leg strength and neurological stability. And it is the movement that, when practiced consistently, creates the greatest reduction in fall risk of anything on this list. Stand next to a wall or counter. Shift your weight to one foot. Lift the other foot just an inch off the ground. Hold for 10 seconds. Switch sides. That is your baseline. If you cannot hold 10 seconds on each side without grabbing the wall or your foot touching back down, your single leg stability is below the threshold that doctors consider safe for daily independent living. That is not a criticism, that is information. And information is what we need to build with. Practice this daily, 10 seconds each side, build to 20, then 30, then 45, then try it with your eyes closed for 5 seconds. That adds a neurological challenge that accelerates the training effect dramatically. The eyes closed version removes your visual reference, which forces the small stabilizing muscles of the ankle, knee, and hip to take over entirely. Those muscles are the first responders in a fall. Training them is not optional, it is necessary. Now for the bonus. And I mean it when I say this is the part most people miss. The single most powerful complement to everything I just taught you is walking backward. 20 steps once a day. That is it. Backward walking activates the tibialis anterior, the muscle on the front of your shin, which is the primary decelerator in human movement. It is the muscle that controls how your foot lands. It is chronically weak in most sedentary adults over 60, and strengthening it does more for knee pain, ankle stability, and fall prevention than almost anything else you can do in under 60 seconds. 20 steps backward, along a hallway or in the backyard. Touch the wall first to orient yourself, then go. 20 steps. Every day. No equipment, no excuses. Let me bring this together. 4 movements. The controlled chair stand to rebuild force generation. The wall sit hold to rebuild sustained endurance. The standing hip hinge to rebuild the posterior chain that catches you when you stumble. And the single leg stand progression to rebuild the neurological stability that keeps you upright in the real world. Plus 20 steps backward every single day as your daily minimum. Here is your challenge. Do these 4 movements 3 times this week. Not every day. 3 times. 10 minutes each session. Then come back to this video in 2 weeks and pay attention to how different your legs feel when you get up from your chair. Pay attention to whether the hesitation is still there. Comment below and tell me what changed. I read every comment. And I mean that. I want to close with something personal. When I was 63 years old, I tried to run across my backyard with my grandson Leo. He was 4, and my legs gave out. I did not fall, but I almost did. And in that moment, standing there trying to catch my breath, I made a decision. Not because I was afraid of dying, but because I was afraid of disappearing from his life while still being alive. If you are watching this, you have already made a similar decision. Maybe it was a stumble, maybe it was a diagnosis, maybe it was just a quiet morning when you looked in the mirror and decided enough. Whatever it was, I am glad you are here. And I am glad you stayed until the end. Your legs built your life. Let's give them the respect they deserve. Fix the foundation first. I'll see you in the next one.